Hello viewers, a very good evening to all of you. Hope all of you are doing good and you had a great day so far. Today we are going to talk about a case study on how do we identify a problem. If there's a particular problem, is there a particular way to identify? Most of the problems do not really require a lot of investigation. Problems can be dealt. Um, it can be a quick fix. Say for example, water is leaking, you know where it is leaking, you call a plumber and then it's fixed. So it's as simple as that. But some problems require you to really dig deep, which is what we are going to learn today in today's case study. I'm Nitin Prabhakar, your trainer for today, and predominantly I come with 15 years of work experience in the corporate world, and for the last 2.5 years I am a soft skills trainer. I train people in corporate, in behavioral skills, leadership skills. I do this in corporates. I do it for the government sectors. I do it in colleges. I have been doing it for Unacademy for the last several months. So with that, I would want to welcome each one of you, and I just want to set a little bit of ground rules in case if there's any questions, please bring it as and when you have. Don't have to really wait for the end of the session so that we can make it interactive. All right. Before we start, I have Ronak. A very good evening. Anuj, long time. Good evening. Dheeraj, hi, long time. I'm doing well and hoping that all of you are also doing good. Nice to have you guys around. Great. Anuj, Dheeraj, I guess you guys were not around for the first three sessions. So what we do is basically I give a case and then we try and sort it out. I will talk about some of the concepts while we, give a solution to this particular case. All right, guys. Let's get started. Before we start, I just wanted to give you a quick introduction about Unacademy. There are various courses that Unacademy also offers. These are to the ones that you see to the left are just few of them. UPSC, bank exams, SSC, railway, defense, JEE, NET, GATE, CAT, personal and skill development, and others. You have the top educators. There are several educators who are trained, who train the students. And one other thing that you need to know also is very competitive costing is what Unacademy has. And there are two things. One is the free classes, the one which is on Unacademy YouTube channels, or it could be the special classes. Those are free classes. And also there is subscription that happens, and when you subscribe, this is how it looks like. There's a 1 month fees, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and these are very nominal when compared to the competitors. So this is something that comes to your doorstep at really reasonable cost and the best of the quality. All right. So all right, friends. I just have one thing to tell you guys. I am pretty much a trainer on the people skills, on the how to attend interviews, how to crack interviews, how to crack group discussions, and predominantly on the behavioral aspects. Those are things on the leadership. So those are things that I can help you with. With regards to the content, with regards to SSC or the CAT or any of your quants, those are things that I may not be able to help you. Your questions around the SSC or the other subject related topics is something that I may not have answers to. You might want to ask that to any of your subject related faculty members. Like I said, I would probably be able to help you more on towards your behavioral aspects of it, on your body language, communication. How do we crack those interviews? So those are things that I come with. All right, Anuj, thumbs up. Great, guys. So today, what case study? Before we get into the case study, let me just explain to you one aspect of it. Why this case study, and how is this going to help you now during your interviews? Predominantly, guys, one thing that they would ask you is situation questions. These situational questions can be very complicated. They are going to give you various situations, and they expect you to come out with a solution to that situation. This can also lead to stress because you do not know the answers, and suddenly there's a situation that's coming up to you. So it can be a little tricky. So that is why we are doing these case studies, and we are doing 20 different case studies across 20 different days. So that is going to help you manage the situation based questions. All right, and also when you get into your MBA, all of these are something that can be, you already know about it, so it's going to be a lot more easier. All right, so with that, let's get started. The case looks like this. A 18-year-old Indian real estate firm which is into construction is developing a hospitality venture in Sri Lanka, and they have got 3 new projects in Sri Lanka. So they have a high credibility in India. However, in the overseas, this is the first time that they're getting, and they've got 3 new projects. So that's new to them. Real estate, remember. Okay. The target completion of the project is 3 years with additional buffer of 1 year without any legal implication. So they got to complete it within 3 years plus 1 year, so max 4 years. The company has deployed 2 teams across both the locations for seamless execution of the project. They have subcontracted the construction. Subcontract means they are not hiring the staff directly. They have given it to somebody else, and their staffs work for this particular company. That's subcontract. They have subcontracted the construction work to a local construction company in Sri Lanka. Machinery and equipments have been hired locally for ease of operation. They are not taking it from India. They have hired it locally. That is the background. Now there are a few situations that you might want to know. This case study is a little lengthy, so you might want to look at all the points down here. The project timeline has crossed halfway mark. However, the project completion is just 35%. So that basically means to say that there is going to be a lag in the project, and the margins can have an impact. Number 2, quality manager Ram, who is operating from the project site, has been finding it very difficult to adapt to the local teams, Sri Lankan teams. He's finding it difficult to interact with them. He also has another challenge, which is he's unable to make decisions, because of which the whole project is getting delayed. The morale of the team is also reducing. That's the second one. The third one is accounts team from India have been instructed to get additional approvals for releasing payments with a view that the cost is rising. Because the cost is rising, the accounts has to pay in more. Third issue. Fourth issue, payment to the subcontractor company is being delayed for quality related issues. Okay, there are quality related issues, and because of which there are payment issues. The last one is the cranes. Out of the 8 cranes, only 5 are working. And the other 3 are not working because of the machine related issues. Finding skilled operators is also another challenge. Now these are the issues that the company is facing. Now just to kind of give you a recap, this age-old real estate company which is very successful in India has got its business in Sri Lanka. They are constructing it. While they are constructing it, there are a few problems that they are facing. Number 1, halfway mark is over, but 35% completion. The project manager is finding it difficult to coordinate with the teams. There is a decision-making ability issues with the project manager. Accounts team has to get more money because the cost is increasing. Subcontractors quality is bad. The kind of work that they're providing is substandard. 5 cranes are working out of the 8, and also getting the operators to operate the crane is also difficult. So these are the issues. All right. Now this is a very lengthy case study. All right. Probably you might want to cut it down, have 2 or 3 different situation which is an issue. And if this situation comes to you, how would you answer during this interview? Let's assume that this is a case study, and believe me, situational based question is a great way of identifying the candidate's ability. So this is something that you can expect. May not be such a lengthy case study, but situations can be smaller, but it is definitely going to come your way. In case if you get such situations in your hand, how would you answer these questions? Is it going to be planned, structured? How would you do this? Anuj, yeah, it's going to go all over, right? It's going to be bonkers. If you have, of course, if it's such a long case study, then it's going to come to your hand. You will have it handy. But how would you structure your thought? Is my question. So it's going to be complicated, right? So first and foremost, when you attend an interview, please, when you find it difficult and if you think you need more time, please do ask for more time. All right, it's absolutely okay to ask for more time. Can I take 30 seconds? Can I take a couple of minutes to answer this? Which is absolutely okay. Number one. Number two, this is how you might want to answer this. If it were me, I would have said, in this particular case, I'm going to use the fishbone diagram. Now, please remember, there's something called as a fishbone diagram. This is a new concept that you are getting introduced to, or if some of you know it, great, it could be a refresher. Fishbone diagram is also called as Ishikawa diagram, because Ishikawa is the one who has identified or who has created this particular diagram, or it is also called as the cause and the effect diagram. All right, this is what it is. So I will be using this in order to solve this particular case study. What I would say is, because the issues are plenty and because the issues are challenging, what I would do is, can I use the drawing board? I'm going to walk up to the drawing board. Now what's happening? You're showing that you're confident. You're showing that you know how to manage this. The first thing that I'm going to tell them is, I'm going to use your drawing board and draw a fishbone diagram to identify the problems. And then I'm going to draw this fishbone. Why is it called as a fishbone? Does it look like a fish? Similar, right? It looks more or less like a fish. So fish in the mouth, which is the cause, and then, oops, sorry, there's a small correction out here. This ideally should be the effect. All right, the effect and the causes. So the effect comes there, and then the causes comes here, and there are 6 M's that you see. Those are your causes for the particular effect. Effect is basically the outcome of the particular case study. Causes are 6 M's, which can be measurement, method, manpower. Easy to remember because it's 6 M's, right? Machine, Mother Earth, materials. These are the 6 things that I would walk up and then say, I'm going to use a fishbone diagram. I'm going to draw the fishbone, and then I'm going to write measurement, method, manpower, machine, Mother Earth, materials. And then I'm going to look at the case study and say, with the measurement, the issue that I see is there is a project timeline that is overshooting. So that is a measurement issue, because as an organization, they have not really identified the actual time that is required. So that is the number one issue, and then I'm going to put that in measurement. You agree, right? That measurement, project line, timeline has to come under measurement. Rising cost. We had never anticipated the cost to rise. We should have ideally, factor that as a part of our contingency, but we have not done that. Thereby, we got to put that as one other issue. Third is there. Now I'm moving on to the method. I don't see any issues with regards to the method. Moving on to the manpower. Ram, who is the operating manager, has skill issues. He is just unable to communicate well with the local teams, number one. Number two, he is unable to make decisions. So what is that? It's a skill issue. And skill issue, where does it come? Under manpower. Skilled operator. Now if you saw that the 6th issue that they had is, there are cranes but you don't have skilled operators. Where do you put that? Under manpower, right? Method is basically, if there's a process which is not followed properly, then it's going to be under the method, right? You are very clear about the top 3. Now coming to the bottom 3. Now fishbone diagram, guys, before I move to the bottom 3, please remember, this is widely used technique in order to identify problems, in order to crack bigger problems into minute nitty-gritties, and from there you understand which problem to attack. So that is how this fishbone is going to be used, and this is something that's used very, very popularly. If the problem seems to be complicated, use a fishbone, right? This really works. Next, coming down, you see the materials. Materials, any kind of a material, quality issues is what we saw here. That is a material issue from the subcontractors. Mother Earth is typically, your rain, something that's out of your control to a large extent. Your, it could be the earthquakes, or it could be coronavirus, right? Right now, that's a Mother Earth, right? Or it is also called as the environment. Falling rupee is also an environment that's out of your control, right? So that is Mother Earth. The last one is the machine. Was there any machine related issues? Crane had an issue, right? Out of the 8, only 5 were working, 3 were not working. So that becomes an issue out here, which is the machine. So Now, what have I done? This is for your understanding, this is for explanation. If it were me, I would have told. So, there are a lot of issues here. I would want to break it down by using the fishbone diagram. Can I use the whiteboard? And I'm going to take maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Is that okay? And any of the interview would say yes, because they would want to see how would you present, how would you use the board, how confident are you, and how well are you using a particular concept, which is the fishbone diagram. It's as simple as this, guys. It's as simple as this. So I would go up there and draw this, and then look at the case study, and then put it up here, and then explain to them why am I placing each one of it where. Remember, this is not used for decision making. This is used only for problem identification. This is not a decision making concept. This is for the problem identification. So when you do that, and then I'll say, so this is what the issue is. From this particular case study, we understand that these are the different problems out here, and by using a fishbone, all of it tells us which are all the problems. Now how is this advantageous is, now we very clearly know what the problems are in a very pictorial representation. From this we can decide which one to act on and which one not to, which one is leading to a lot more loss, and which one can be ignored, and thereby we are going to go back and attack each one of it as per the severity, is what my answer is going to be. Now please remember, how can you differentiate yourself from the rest of them? If it was somebody else, they would ideally say, read down the case study and then just talk about each one of the points. But by you being different, by you talking about one of these concepts, you can make a whole lot of impact. Alright, so this is called as the fishbone diagram or the Ishikawa diagram. One other thing that I would want to tell you is, popularly used as a flow chart. I'm not going to talk about flow chart because for this case study you cannot use a flow chart. If you have ever worked on a flow chart, that's a very easy way to identify what the problem is. Is there a solution? I would want you to look up flow chart, or probably one of the days I will take up a case study and then talk about flow charts. Flow chart is also another intelligent, brilliant, easy way to identify a particular problem, and also it comes with a solutioning. It can be used as a problem solving, a problem identification tool, also a solutioning tool. So in tomorrow's session, what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to talk about something called a 6 thinking hats, and we are also going to talk about a case study which is brilliant and which is interesting. So if you guys find time, go back to your Google and find out about the missing football players in Thailand. There were few people who went on a hill. They got lost, which was, I think, in the year 2016, 2018. Between them, 13 players got lost. Where did they get lost? Was in a cave. Tomorrow's case study is on that, and how do we crack such case studies using decision making tools, which is called as a 6 thinking hat. And it's a very interesting concept. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. All right. So about fishbone diagram, guys, any questions so far? Fishbone, or about anything about interviews, any questions on the soft skills aspects? How many of you knew about the fishbone diagram? How many of you knew how to use fishbone? Ronak, any case study, basically any case study where there are multiple problems, like I said, if there's just one problem, I would say don't use this. I would say 60% of the problems don't require you to really use a fishbone. But the other 40% of the problems which has a lot of issues, that is where you can use fishbone diagram, right? When you see that the case study is complicated, where there are a lot of problems, a lot of misses, that is where you can do. Say for example, you are conducting a fest, and the thing that we spoke about yesterday. Let's assume that your team is not working cordially. You're not getting sponsorship. there is no support from your higher ups, which is your lecturers, faculty members, right? You're not prepared for the branding. Now you see that there are multiple issues, right? You got to have a very holistic bird's eye view, and when you want to have a bird's eye view, this is going to throw you all the issues, in a pictorial representation, right? So this is going to be easier, right? So my answer in one sentence: any case study where there are multiple issues is where you can use this. What I can do is, Ronak, let me also, for the benefit, for your benefit, I can share a case study. I can just share a case study with you. If you can drop in your email ID, I can drop in a case study, or a couple of case studies, and then you can use a fishbone diagram on those couple of case studies, and see how you can crack it, and then you can respond to me with your fishbone diagram, and I can let you know if that's fine, or if there's any correction that is required. I hope that works. Now please remember, guys, if you see the effect is what is the outcome is the effect. What is the outcome is the effect. Say for example, I asked you to, I give you an exam, you write the exam and you get poor marks. What is the outcome here, or the effect? It is poor marks. So that becomes the effect. The delay in the project that you see on the right side, that is an effect. Similarly, in this particular case that I spoke about, poor scoring is your effect. You attending a class, but you going for the class late. What is the outcome? Being not punctual is the effect. So that is how you identify the effect. Another thing that you need to remember is there can be multiple effects. There can be multiple effects, right? For each one of the effect, the fishbone diagram has to be different. You can't have one fishbone diagram for multiple effects. Say for example, delay in the project in this particular case, if you are taking that as one of the effects, the other effect could be loss for the organization, or the other effect can be rising prices. In case if you have identified those, the causes can be completely different, and thereby you can't use one fishbone diagram to have the same effect. Alright, I hope you're very clear with this. For each one of the effect, you need to have a different fishbone diagram. Alright. Ronak, thank you so much. Really appreciate. Really appreciate. Alright, Ronak, I don't know if I've told you about this back in during my MBA days. I told you about this, right? My English was zilch. I could not speak one sentence in English. I used to really shiver, and that is when I made a decision that I'm going to really work hard. 6 months of hard work is what it took me in order to improve my communication. So those 6 months is something that I really, had to appreciate. Have to appreciate. So, a lot of people think communication is gifted, but I think communication is something that we can really work on. Wait, folks, any other questions that you have? Ronak, any other questions? Anuj, Dheeraj? Ashish is not to be seen today. Well, I'm going to wait for the next 60 seconds, and if there's any question, I'm going to take that. Otherwise, we can call it a day. Today's session was quite quick. Though this is for some of you, it could be a new concept that you've learned. I think it's as simple as it can get, right? So that's why I'm not really complicating it. I'm keeping it as basic as possible. All right, my just take a look at this for a minute. I'm just giving you another uh, fishbone diagram, just so that you know if there's an effect which is missed deadline, what can be the causes. Causes are all mentioned here: measurement, method, manpower or the people, materials, environment or the mother earth, and then you have the mission. Measurement can be for the missed deadline. Measurement can be did not track progress, no short term goals, lack of accountability, no time sheet. All of these are measurements, right? So these are things that can give you an example of what each one of the causes can be. And a method, bureaucratic, somebody who follows a lot of processes and thereby things are getting delayed. Poor prioritization, unforeseen variables, lack of planning, all of these are methods, right? Ronak, if you can let me know which one in specific, because on soft skills I've already had around 20 different topics, and which is already available on YouTube. If you tell me which are the ones, I can share the links with you, Ronak. If you go to YouTube and look for sessions on Nitin Prabhakar, you should be able to find a lot of them on communication, on body language. These are all very important, Or you can also go to the special class on Unacademy, which is also free. You can go there and look at the sessions, because those are more extensive. I've covered it at length. Right. People, or micromanaging boss, bad boss, sick children, absent security, lack of communication from client, all of these can be people. Under mission, coffee vending machine is not working, car wouldn't start, poor internet connections, slow computer, crane is not working, all of these can be mission. Environment, fluorescent lights, I'm not very comfortable with fluorescent light. Small cubicle, and it makes me uncomfortable. The office is too cold and that doesn't give me motivate me to work. There's noisy co-workers. All of these can be environment. Materials, unstable desk. Unstable desk, right? If it's too rickety, you wouldn't like it. No printer paper, out of pens, squeaky desk chair. My chair right now is squeaky, and sometimes it's a little disturbing. So these are some of the things that I wanted to showcase, so you kind of understand what can come under where. This is for your better understanding. All right, Ronak, just in case if you're unable to find it, I can help you with that probably next time. Just write to me, and then I can help you with that. All right, folks, thank you so much. If you have learned anything new, please practice it firstly. And if you think you've liked the session and learned something new, please like it, share it with as many people as possible. Please subscribe to Nitin Prabhakar on Unacademy. Use my referral code. I spoke to you about the subscription. Go for the subscription, because there is multiple benefits. It will really help you crack your CAT, SSE, all of those. My referral code is down below, Nitin PKR-4915. By doing so, you'll be able to avail a 10% off, right? I encourage each one of you to attend the Plus program. With that, if there are no questions, thank you everybody. Ronak, thank you for your questions, and thank you for that once again, Ronak. All right, and look for those sessions in case if you need any help, do let me know. All right, thank you, Anuj. See you, Ronak. Bye, Dheeraj. Bye.